and the Executive Director for Americans for Justice in Palestine, AJP. He's also a board member of the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations, which is an umbrella organization of 8 major national American Muslim organizations. He has studied and published dozens of things and articles on Middle East and its political climate. So please welcome me in joining Dr. Osama Abuirshad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I want to go back to the theme of this session. Palestine, what is behind the new dynamics? And there is a reason why we wanted to discuss the new dynamics in the United States, the new shifts. I think every one of us can relate to what happened back in May and in June, when we've seen more support for the Palestinian cause. When we witnessed more members of Congress are willing to stand on principle and speak for Palestine. When the media, or some of this media, the so-called mainstream media, had to depart partially from its complicity and complacency with the Israeli appetite. Many were asking this question: why are we seeing this? What is happening? What is going on? And I will give you an answer that was provided to us by a report in the Israeli newspaper Haaretz in 2017. So I'm talking about 2017 now. This report summarized a study by Gallup that was conducted at the end of the year 2016 about the shifts in the American public opinion in relation to Palestine. So I want you to listen to how Haaretz summarized the findings of the Gallup study in 2016, and the report was in 2017. The summary was as follows: the more Americans learn about Israel, the less they like it. That is word to word. What is funny about this is when I said this before, I was accused by some Israeli Zionist outlets here in the US of being anti-Semitic just by using the exact words that I have just read before, although they were published in the Israeli Haaretz by an Israeli reporter. The more Americans learn about Israel, the less they like it. Why? It is no longer news now in the US to see more support, more shifts in favor of Palestine. We see change taking place, unfolding before our own eyes in real time. It is no longer a political suicide to speak for Palestine. Ask Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Ask Ilhan Omar. Ask Rashida Tlaib. Ask people who are running now for Congress or for office without shying away from stating where they stand on Palestine. Ask Huwaida Arraf if she's here. Is Huwaida here? Is Huwaida Arraf here? I want you to stand up if you're here. Okay, so she's not here. She's running in Michigan now. And she's being attacked, maligned by Fox News because of where she stands on Palestine. But she did not back down. She's not shying away. More and more politicians are running while they're standing on principle when it comes to Palestine. Why? Let's go back to the findings of the study of 2017 or 2016. It pulled more Americans from all backgrounds, including Jewish Americans. And we don't have time to go through the statistics, but the more they knew about Israel, the more people knew, their love for Israel or their passion for Israel diminished. Palestine is being mainstreamed now. in America. I'm not saying that we've reached the finish line, but things are changing. Why? This is one, due to the steadfastness, resilience, sacrifices of the Palestinian people on the ground. So let us not compete with them when it comes to credit, because it is their steadfastness, it is their resilience that is forcing their cause and their plight on all international agendas and platforms. The other reason is because of our collective work, because of our awareness campaigns. It is because of our organization, not AMP, our organizing on the ground. It is because of the mobilization. It is because we are taking the lead now in America. It is because there is a new generation. Those who are millennials, those who are born between 1984 and 1997, they are more sympathetic to Palestine according to these studies. Those who were born after 1997 to 2012, the Gen Z, are more sympathetic to Palestine. These are number statistics that are confirmed, that are authentic. All what we need is to know these facts. So yes, the more Americans know or learn about Israel, the less they like it, but the more we know the dynamics and the shifts that are taking place, the more we'll be hopeful and enthusiastic. Yesterday, one of our brothers here was joking with another brother who's part of the program, and he said, "MashaAllah, very good, nice convention, but are there any heavyweight speakers?" And the ones who were speaking are our Gen Z, you know, our Zarifa from AMP, our social media director, Malak from AMP, and Anas from Turkey, who are engaged on Palestine, very young, engaged on Palestine, those who are leading the change on the ground. And so I said to that brother, I said, "Yeah, you're looking at them. Those are the heavyweights. Those are the ones who are on this change that we are seeing today in America and across the globe." As my brother Ahmed just mentioned, you know, this generation is not a hostage of the so-called mainstream media and its complacency and complicity. They see the news in real time. That's why Gantz, the Israeli war minister, they call him the defense minister, took the time during the attack on Gaza back in May to meet with the executives from Facebook and Instagram and the Twitter to speak about restricting the Palestinian content. And they are. But they're failing. You know why they're failing? With all their hostility against the Palestinian content, they're failing because the Palestinian solidarity movement worldwide is more intersectional and it is very broad and open, including Jewish Americans, including Jews who are proudly Jewish and stand for justice. So they cannot restrict our voices and they cannot restrict what we do. Today, no one in the United States can say with a straight face that Israel transcends political party affiliation. Israel is becoming a partisan issue. It is. When Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stands in Congress responding to Biden, when he said Israel has the right to defend itself, and she responds to him by saying, "Do the Palestinians have the right to live?" This tells you about the shift that is taking place in America. When the former Israeli Prime Minister, Don Dramer, says, and I'm going to read to you what he says, Israel should not spend more of its energy preaching or reaching out to passionate or Israel actually should spend more of its energy reaching out to passionate American evangelicals, not Jews who are disproportionately among our critics. When Israel loses the Jewish youth in this country, this tells you something. It is no longer the Jewish David against the Palestinian Goliath. Today there is the Israeli Goliath against the Palestinian David. Things are changing, but I will conclude with the following. Look, we could talk about all of these good factors. We could talk about all of the promise and the potential we have. But if we do not invest in our potential, if we don't understand our potential, if we don't believe in the power of our voices, in the power of our work, we will go back to point zero. The other side is noticing, and they're doubling and tripling their efforts. While some of us still questioning, are we seeing a real change, or this is a temporary change? Things will change and go back to where they were. They will go back to where they were if we don't do our part. For those who continue to forecast failure, I promise you, that's what you're going to get. You will harvest failure. But if you believe that there is a way forward, and there is a way forward, I promise you things will change. With people like Amrada, with people like Linda, with people like Ahmed, and they're all my brothers and sisters, and Dina, and everyone, and with every one of us coming together, working for Palestine, with organizations like the US Campaign and the AMP and others, I promise you that in a matter of a few years, you will see a substantive change if we continue this trajectory. I want you to believe in this, because my work means nothing, equals zero, if you don't believe in this. I just came back from Jordan, and I will conclude with this. Sorry, this is the last thing I'll say, I promise. Wallahi, I get invited to so many webinars in Gaza. Of course, I can't go to Gaza. Wallah, I get invited to so many webinars in Gaza. Wallah, what they're asking about is trying to understand the change and the shifts that are taking place in America. Imagine your brothers and sisters in Gaza, in the West Bank, those who are under oppression, are looking up to us. We should not fail them. We should meet their expectations. We should build on their resilience, and we should make them as proud as they are making us proud. And yes, we can do it, inshallah.